Hello everyone. Hope you saw my previous videos. This is a continuation of that. Here we will solve 5 problems from NCERT Class 9 Science Textbook, Chapter 7, Motion, page number 82 and 83. This is the first question in that set. It is in page number 82, question number 1. We will go through the question. A bus starting from rest moves with a uniform acceleration of 0.1 meter per second square for 2 minutes. Find the speed acquired and the distance travelled. First we will write down whatever is given in the question. The first thing we have is u is equal to 0. Why u is 0 is the bus is starting from rest. At rest we all know the velocity is 0. So the initial velocity u is 0. Then we have the uniform acceleration a given to be 0.1 meter per second square. And the time here is 2 minutes. This 2 minutes we have to convert it into seconds, which is 120 seconds. So the first thing we have to find is the speed. So for speed, what is the formula we use? Speed here we mean the final velocity at the end of 2 minutes. So we have to find the final velocity. From which formula do we calculate it? As usual, we will calculate it from a is equal to v minus u by t. All these we have a, u and t. From this we will calculate v. So from this we get v is equal to at plus u. So your a is 0.1 meter per second square and your t is 120 seconds and u is 0. So what do we have? 12 meter per second. This is the final velocity or the speed acquired. Then the next thing we have to calculate is the distance. So the formula to use to find the distance is 2as is equal to v square minus u square. So from here we have to find s, which is the distance. V square minus u square by 2 into a. So your v square we just found out 12 square minus 0 by 2 into a, which is 0.1. So we have 144 by 2 into 10. This will come to 720 meters. So this is our distance travelled in the given time. This is the end of the first sum. We will move on to the next sum. This sum reads, a train is travelling at a speed of 90 km per hour. Brakes are applied so as to produce a uniform acceleration of minus 0.5 meter per second square. Find how far the train will go before it is brought to rest. In this question we see that the acceleration is given as minus 0.5. This we discussed in the previous video itself. Why do we have a negative sign for acceleration? This acceleration is acting in the opposite direction of motion so as to bring the train to rest. So there is a negative sign. This is also called as deceleration. So now we will write down what is given in the question. So the train is travelling at a speed of 90 km per hour. So this is our u, 90 km per hour. So we have to convert this into meter per second. For this we multiply it by 5 by 18. So this will come to be 5 into 5, which is 25 meter per second. This is your initial velocity. So then we have the acceleration, which is A, given to be minus 0.5 meter per second squared. So what we have to find from here is the distance. So how do we find the distance? We have the formula 2as is equal to v square minus u square. So we have to have v here. So now what is our v? Our v will be 0. Why is it 0? Because the train is brought to rest. So the final velocity is 0. So whenever there is a sum which says a bus or train or something is starting from rest, we will have our u to be 0. So the next one here, what we have is, in this question, the train is brought to rest. So when it is brought to rest, the final velocity v becomes 0. So we have to find s from here. So here we have 0 minus u square, which is 25 square by 2 into minus 0.5. So we have minus 625 by minus 1. So the answer is 625 meters. So the distance the train travels before it is brought to rest is 625 meters. We will go to the next sum. The sum reads, a trolley while going down an inclined plane has an acceleration of 2 centimeter per second square. What will be the velocity after 3 seconds? After the 3 seconds after the start. So here what do we have is, the acceleration is given to be 2 centimeter per second square. The acceleration is 2 centimeter per second square. We have to be careful while we do the calculations. This has to be converted into SI units. We have to convert this centimeter into meter so that we calculate it properly. So we have 2 centimeter becomes 0.2 meter per second square. This will be our acceleration. Then what do we have? We have the time. Time is given to be 3 seconds. So we have to find v. And what is our u? U is 0. Because the trolley is going down an inclined plane, has an acceleration of 2 centimeter per second square. So from this we will use the formula a is equal to v minus u by t to find out v. So v is equal to at plus u. So your a is 0.02 into 3 plus 0. So we have 0.06 meter per second. This is our final velocity. So, or the velocity after 3 seconds of start. So we will go to the next sum. This sum says a racing car has a uniform acceleration of 4 meter per second square. What distance will it cover in 10 seconds after start? So the racing car has a uniform acceleration. So a is equal to 4 meter per second square and t is equal to 10 seconds. So we have to find the distance. So what is the formula to be used here is s is equal to ut plus half at squared. So what will be your u? U will be 0. So we have 0 into 10 plus half into 4 into 10 square. So we have 2 into 100, which is 200 meters. So this will be the distance covered after 10 seconds. So your S is equal to 200 meters. We'll go to the next sum. This is a very interesting sum. The sum reads, a stone is thrown in a vertically upward direction with a velocity of 5 meters per second. If the acceleration of the stone during its motion is 10 meters per second squared in the downward direction, what will be the height attained by the stone and how much time will it take to reach there? So this throwing of stone, we have done it many times, and we have watched the stone going up and then coming back. Yes. So now the question is, what does the time taken to reach the top? So we throw it with some initial velocity and it goes upwards with velocity and it reaches it reaches one point at the top where it stops or pauses for a time and then falls back to the ground. So now we will calculate the height attained by a stone and the time to reach that topmost point where it pauses for a second. So what are the information we have? We have the initial velocity u is 5 meter per second. So with this velocity the stone is thrown vertically upwards. So and now we have acceleration which is in the downward direction. So what do we have? We have a negative acceleration, meter per second square. If you see this 10 meter per second square is the acceleration due to gravity of the earth. It is usually 9.8 meter per second square, but for a given sum we can round it off to 10 meter per second square. So this is the downward acceleration which is against the motion of the stone. So we have a negative sign. So then what do we have? Then we have to find the height attained and the time taken. So how do we find V from these two information? We have to first find V. So V is the final velocity. Final velocity is 0 because it reaches the top and pauses for a moment. We have to find the distance S from these three information, and the formula we usually use is 2AS is equal to V square minus U square. From here we will find the S, which is the height attained by the stone or the distance travelled by the stone. So V is 0 and U is 5, initial velocity U is 5 and the acceleration is minus 10. So what do we have? 25 by minus 20. So when we cancel this out, we have 1.25 meters. So this is the height attained by the stone which is thrown up. Next we have to find out the time. So time we find out from the formula A is equal to V minus U by T. From here we have to find T. T is equal to V minus U by A. So this will be 0 minus 5 by what is our A? A is minus 10. So we have 0.5 seconds. So from this what do we understand? The stone we throw takes 0.5 seconds to reach a distance of 1.25 meters above, and from there it falls back again. Yes. So with this we come to an end of this video, and in the next video we will see the book exercise from the book. If you have any doubts, you can contact me on the WhatsApp number given in the description box. Thanks for watching. Happy learning.